Welcome. I'd like to thank the organizers, of course, for inviting me. My name is Debby, and I'm working at the orthopedics department of the University Medical Center here in Utrecht. And I'm going to present to you my insights on regenerative medicine and technology for the future. So now I have to talk some more. I have two titles. It means I have a PhD and I'm an engineer. So I started off as a biomedical engineer and graduated at the Technical University in Eindhoven. And during my training there, I performed an internship in vascular tissue engineering at the Georgia Institute of Technology in Atlanta. And then later on, I did a long project on heart valve tissue engineering, and then back in Eindhoven. So what I mainly focused on was creating tissues from cells and some other stuff you need to make a tissue. But I also had a focus on biomechanics, so that was more technical input in that respect. And for my PhD, I tried to stay within the tissue engineering, so I made skeletal muscle tissue. And then we used it to study the etiology of pressure ulcers, so if people stay in bed for a long time, they can develop an ulcer. And we wanted to know how the ulcers develop that start from within the patient, from the muscle tissue, and then come back to the surface, and then they're discovered. Because a lot of these patients are paraplegic and they can feel that they're developing the ulcer. And then after my PhD, I moved to Utrecht for a postdoc in regenerative medicine, the strategic program that was started there in 2007. And within that first appointment, I wrote a BEANI application, which is a personal scholarship to perform research. And at the moment I'm working on a fellowship at the orthopedics department. So I switched to another tissue, bone and cartilage. My focus is to grow bone from cartilage, as normally takes place in the growth plate of people and animals. But alongside, I've worked on the development of a new program called Regenerative Medicine and Technology, and I'm also the program coordinator of this course that will start this September. I don't know, the movie normally starts, but it doesn't, so try to help it. Or it doesn't work. This is the leg of a salamander which can regenerate by itself. So regeneration means that it can grow back from itself. And the thing is that you want to functionally restore the tissue. So not only to have the limb recreated, but all the components that create the movement within it. But we cannot have regenerative medicine without the technology. So usually you have the tissue engineering approach in which you isolate cells from a patient and then expand them in culture. You add growth factors, chemicals, all kinds of stimuli, see them on some carrier, which we call a scaffold, and then place them back in culture and stimulate them some more with some electrical pulses for muscle tissue, with mechanics to make cartilage, and then in the end you want to place it back in the patient. But you need the biochemistry, you need the biomechanics, you need, for example, on the upper right, a printer, a 3D printer to create an organ. I hope that movie works later on. And then you need to visualize what tissue you made with MRI or other imaging techniques. And after the revolutions in life sciences that started with molecular biology and then the genomics revolution, we're now on the verge of the third revolution, convergence. We have to converge all the life sciences and other sciences fields and bring them together because in these intersections there's more to gain and we can innovate and bring the field forward. So I have to combine the life sciences, the physical sciences and the engineering. And how to do this better in the Netherlands than to combine the institutes of the University Medical Center in Utrecht, the university and also the Technical University in Eindhoven. And on these intersections we can push the field forward, but to be able to do this we need people that can communicate beyond their own frontiers. So we need people with a life sciences background, here in yellow, people with an engineering background, in red, and then usually they proceed to their own master programs in the biomedical sciences or engineering fields But we also have a new program in the center, the Regenerative Medicine and Technology, where people can exchange their approach of a certain problem, exchange ideas, and learn from each other to communicate beyond their own field and explore in new ways. So this new 2-year program will start in September, as I mentioned, and we're still accepting applications. So if you're interested, please visit our website. You can find it on the UU site. And then we need the convergence, and as a proof of concept, here's one example, where on the left you see that they created some trachea for a patient from a biomaterial with a lot of knowledge about biochemistry. They later seeded the patient's cells on the scaffold, cultured it in a lab with the flow perfusion system, which the mechanical engineers built. And then as a result you have a new tissue and all kinds of histology and other visualizing techniques to prove that it is a certain tissue that can regenerate. You place it back in the patient. This probably won't work either. So it's really a pity, because there was a movie where we could see that there was a 3D printer which we have in the orthopedics department, with which you can print elastomers, which are some kind of plastics. In between you can put a hydrogel with your cells, provided with growth factors and what all other stuff the cells need to build the new tissue. And then you can build, for example, an osteochondral plug, which you can put back into the patient after scanning the defect and make it custom fit for that particular patient with his or her own cells. So what I wanted to try to tell you today is that your future might be in regenerative medicine and technology, and how to better start then by choosing this master program where we can use the convergence for future healthcare applications. Thank you.